When a big, serious-looking dog suddenly pulls his owner toward the bushes, no one expects what happens next. What he finds hidden in the grass will leave you surprised, and maybe even a little emotional. This is a story you won't forget. The story begins with a man named Kitten. He was someone who loved the quiet things in life, peaceful mornings, slow walks, and most of all, time with his dog, Leo. Leo was a big German shepherd with a strong body and a serious face. Most people got scared when they saw him. But Leo was not scary at all. He was kind, gentle, and very loving. He was more than just a pet. He was Ethan's best friend. Ethan and Leo did everything together. They played in the yard, shared snacks, and went for long walks. But Sundays were extra special. Every Sunday morning, while most people were still in bed, Ethan and Leo went out for a long walk to enjoy the fresh air and quiet streets. One sunny Sunday morning, the sky was clear and the sun was shining through the trees. It was the perfect day for their usual walk. Ethan clipped on Leo's leash, and they started walking down Tree-lined Street, a calm and quiet road they knew well. As they walked, something strange happened. Leo suddenly stopped. His ears stood up, and his tail wagged fast. Then, without any warning, he pulled hard on the leash. Ethan was surprised. Leo never did that before. He was always calm on walks. But this time Leo seemed excited, like he saw something important. No matter how much Ethan tried to stop him, Leo kept pulling. His eyes were fixed on something near a bush up ahead. Ethan felt a little nervous. Every time he told people about his walks with Leo, they warned him. Lately, there were rumors. People had seen foxes, wild dogs, and even a bear cub near the area. Now, seeing Leo act so strange made Ethan worry. Was Leo sensing danger? He held the leash tighter and tried to stop Leo, but then he looked into Leo's eyes. What he saw surprised him. Leo wasn't scared or angry. He looked worried. Ethan paused. He trusted Leo more than anyone. "I trust you," he whispered, and slowly let go of the leash. In a flash, Leo ran straight toward the bushes. His tail stood high, and his nose moved quickly, sniffing the air. Ethan ran after him, heart beating fast. What was it? Another dog? A wild animal? But nothing could have prepared him for what he saw. There, hiding deep in the grass under some twigs, was the tiniest kitten Ethan had ever seen. It was shaking. Its fur was messy and dirty. It looked so thin that Ethan could see its little ribs. The kitten opened its mouth and let out a soft, weak meow, full of sadness, but also a little bit of hope. Ethan's heart broke when he saw the tiny kitten lying there. It looked so weak, so lost. He loved Leo more than anything, but he had never thought about what some poor animals, like this kitten, had to go through. But then he froze. Leo was standing right over the kitten. The size difference was huge. One wrong move, even by accident, and Leo could hurt it badly. Ethan knew how strong Leo was. Even during fun play, his bites were powerful. And sometimes dogs didn't like small animals. It was just their nature. "Please don't hurt it," Ethan whispered softly. Leo looked down at the kitten. Then something amazing happened. Leo slowly lay down beside it. Gently, he lowered his head and sniffed the kitten's fur. Then, with so much care, he gave it a soft lick. It was like he was saying, "Don't worry, I'll protect you." The kitten looked up at him and, with quiet trust, gently placed its tiny paw on Leo's big nose. Ethan could hardly believe what he was seeing. A huge dog and a tiny, weak kitten, sitting together like old friends. It was such a special moment. Dogs and kittens don't always get along, but these two seemed to understand each other. Ethan smiled. That's when he knew they couldn't leave the kitten here. He slowly reached out and picked her up. She was so light, like a feather in his hands. She didn't try to run or cry. She just lay there, cold and tired, but calm. Leo stood beside them, watching with gentle eyes, like he was making sure the kitten was okay. "I guess we're bringing you home," Ethan whispered with a smile. As they walked back, Leo followed without needing a leash. It was like he already felt close to the kitten. At home, Ethan gently dried her off with a towel, gave her some warm milk, and wrapped her in a soft blanket. Leo lay down right beside her, keeping her company. Later, Ethan wanted to give her a name. He thought for a while. Then he looked into her hazel-colored eyes, still shining, even though she looked weak. And just like that, he smiled and said, "We'll call you Hazel." Leo stayed nearby, always keeping an eye on Hazel. It was like he had become her big brother, or maybe even her parent. He followed her everywhere she went, making sure she was safe. Hazel was still small and weak, and sometimes she tripped or wobbled when she walked. But Leo was always there to catch her. If Hazel cried, Leo rushed to her side. If she played, he watched her closely, his eyes full of love. And Hazel? She loved Leo from the very start. She followed him all around the house and always curled up beside him to sleep, snuggled into his big, fluffy tail. She even tried to do what Leo did. When he walked, she tried to walk too. When he sat, she sat. When he barked, she opened her mouth and let out a tiny, squeaky mew. Ethan couldn't stop smiling. His home, once quiet and still, was now full of life, laughter, and love. Hazel and Leo became the heart of the house, a perfect pair. Every day they played together. Hazel chased Leo's tail, and Leo gently rolled toys her way. They napped side by side, stretched at the same time, and looked out the window together. If the mailman passed by, they made noise, one barking, one meowing. Hazel learned so much from Leo. She learned to sit and wait for her food, to be gentle, and even to ask for treats by raising one tiny paw. Soon, she got faster too, zooming through the hallways and racing Leo from one room to another. As the days passed, Hazel grew strong, healthy, and full of energy. And through it all, Leo stayed right beside her, protecting her, teaching her, and loving her every step of the way. One Sunday, Ethan went out for his usual morning walk with Leo. But this time there was someone new beside them, Hazel. The three of them walked down the street, with Leo and Hazel side by side. Hazel playfully bounced around Leo's big paws, and Leo walked slowly, matching her tiny steps. People passing by stopped and stared. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. Leo, the strong and serious-looking dog, was gently playing with a small kitten. It was a surprising and sweet sight. Soon, word of their friendship spread through the neighborhood. Neighbors came by just to see them. Some even asked if they could adopt Hazel. But Ethan always said the same thing. No, they belong together. He smiled as he said it, because he knew it was true. You just couldn't break a bond like theirs. Ethan, Leo, and Hazel were more than just a man and his pets. They were a family. Leo showed everyone that even the strongest ones can be gentle. Hazel showed that the smallest ones can love the biggest hearts. And Ethan? He learned that trusting his heart and his dog led to something amazing. Their story touched many people, but it wasn't just about a lost kitten being rescued. It was a story about love, kindness, and what happens when you open your heart to someone in need. Sometimes, the best friendships come when you least expect them. And sometimes, the biggest hearts are hidden behind the strongest faces. Together, the three lived each day full of joy, laughter, and love, one paw print at a time.